Do you want me to start reading, Susie?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. So back over to the documents. We've got Venezuela's President Chavez is Castro's ideological successor. And from redacted Cineo for Latin America, it says Venezuelan leadership and intelligence target. That's interesting. I'm very interested in anything to do with Latin and South America, especially as chat was talking about Assange just a bit earlier. But anyway, so the first paragraph is secret. It says, over the past few weeks, the Bush administration has identified Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez as a threat to democracy in the region in general and a threat to U.S. interests in particular. Chavez is a throwback to the Cold War era. He is an ardent admirer and supporter of Cold War dinosaur Fidel Castro, whom Chavez views as his mentor. Following in his mentor's footsteps, Chavez is virulently anti-US and is actively seeking to end the oil relationship. There we go. There's the reason for the actual animosity, the oil relationship between the two countries, and to pursue any course of action he believes will have a negative impact on the United States. The administration has tasked the intelligence community with improving our capabilities vis-a-vis Venezuela to enhance policymakers' understanding of the Chavez regime's plans and intentions so that policymakers can develop a means for countering them. And I have to say really fast that I've almost written an article on the fact that Trump and Obama are the exact same, especially in regards to them both sanctioning Venezuela and helping to create the horrific conditions there. But that's for later discussion. Anyway, so back to the document. Having centralized control over the government and military and weakened opposition groups to the point that they are incapable of offering a viable alternative to his regime, Chavez is focusing his efforts on exporting his Bolivarian revolution to neighboring countries, casting the United States in the role of imperial exploiter of Latin America and seeking to create regional trade and security blocs that would exclude the United States. Again, we see what the real issue here has nothing to do with Marxism or anything. So other democratic nations in Latin America are concerned with his efforts to develop and strengthen ties to insurgent and populist groups in the region could lead to civil unrest, and that his anti-free market policies could impact negatively on their economies. Chavez is also reaching out to countries of enduring concern to the United States, particularly China, Iran, and Russia, to develop ties and further cooperation as another means of pursuing his anti-US strategy. In addition to threatening democratic institutions in the region, Chavez is working to limit Venezuela's dependency on the United States to purchase Venezuelan oil. The high sulfur content of the oil requires specialized processing, and most of the refineries capable of handling this crude are in the United States. Although there is an element of the impractical in Chavez's desire to reduce oil deliveries to the United States, since Venezuela is the fourth largest supplier of oil to the United States, any threat to cut off that supply is one that needs to be taken seriously. From a SIGINT perspective, Venezuela poses a particularly difficult challenge. With Castro as his mentor, Chavez has learned the importance of communications security and has made sure that his subordinates understand this as well. NSA, in conjunction with its collection partners in the intelligence community, is working to improve our capabilities in the region through a series of surveys and initiatives designed to help enhance our collection on a range of important issues related to Venezuela. And I think this is a fascinating document because it supports the idea that our aggression towards Venezuela is literally economic and about oil and trade, and that's why we sanction them. But which is a huge, I mean,
I agree with that. The only thing,
write an article just based on this, honestly.
The only thing that we need to do now is go back and see if it's in the intercept reporting on batch 5.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, very true. But even if it is, I would still use the intercept. I mean, it wouldn't be a DecipherYou finding that is unique, but I would still use it while citing the intercept report in order to describe that sameness of policy by Trump and Obama on Venezuela and destroying that country because of oil.
It's the second overt admission within the NSA documents provided by Snowden that military targeting is on the basis of oil. Because yet again, that's something that the US denies all the time.
Yeah, in public and then in private.
In public, they deny all the time that it's about oil. So the first one, if you guys haven't been with us for long, was West Africa. So they talk about specifically the deployment of the military, US military in West Africa, as they openly discuss the fact that it was to secure the unimpeded flow of oil to the US and its allies.
And one thing about that was so interesting was the fact that what they seem to do is, instead of just admitting, oh, we're going into war for oil, what they do is they, like in this document with Venezuela as well, you see that to them, oil is a military type of interest. So what I mean by that is that when they talk about Venezuela cutting off oil supply, they see that as a military threat. They're talking about that as a military action almost on the part of Venezuela. And that's really incredible to me to see that, especially in comparison with the public discussion of it. The public would always be about, as they said, like the communist Marxist type issues, but really we see exactly what it's about here. So. Awesome.
I'm just adding that to my notes, and also that it needs to be checked to see if it was in the intercepted batch 5 reporting.
Yeah, I had felt bad about not writing about Venezuela previously, but I guess I'm glad I held off, because this will be something that will be helpful in trying to do that, even if the Intercept has reported on it.